Hello, Mavs fans. Welcome to Pod Maverick After Dark. I'm Kirk Henderson, and we are joined, as always, by Josh Bowe. We're both editors over at MavsMoneyball.com. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I know Mavs fans are probably not doing so well tonight. That wasn't fun to watch. This is supposed to be fun. Why wasn't that fun?
No. It was actually really fun to watch. And
I know.
then the Mavericks kind of died. And the things that were gnawing at me as I wrote the game recap and took all my notes came to fruition in the fourth quarter in a really bad way at the worst possible time. And the Mavericks, who had gotten a little big for their britches in the first quarter, gave up a double-digit lead and lost at home and lost home court in the playoffs, and now head back to Oklahoma City with a series tied 2-2 after a 100-96 loss. I am, you're not this guy, but I am. I'm fucking angry, and I'm really frustrated with the Mavericks' two best players, one much more than the other. In a game that the Mavericks lost by 4 points, they missed 12 free throws. 12. And that is the start and the end for a lot of the loss. But there were so many other things about this game that drove me crazy that I don't really know where to start, because the Mavericks were poised to blow the Thunder off the floor in the first quarter. They were up 30-20, which isn't really indicative of the fact that they should have been up 40-20. They had four straight awful, lazy, we're really good and we're up turnovers, showboating bullshit. And then the Thunder just kind of hung around, and eventually gutted the Mavericks. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of people like to move on after losses, but I want to dwell on this loss because I'm really frustrated, because a lot of the Mavericks' problems that they've been winning in spite of came to a head in this game. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to get into it now or if we should kind of recap the game as a whole. What do you think?
Why don't we get into I think it's on top of your mind. So why don't we just do that? Why don't we just get off what's on your chest? Because I know it's top of mind.
It's so let me just get this up front. The first half, and really through three quarters, we watched Luka Doncic play some of the most inspired defense he's played in a Dallas Mavericks uniform, as part of a connected team outfit where they were monsters defending the Thunder. Just really, really brilliant. I mean that. And Luka was really good on defense. I am tired of these Luka Doncic performances on offense. I wrote this in my recap, and I don't care if I get skewered later, because I can at once both love Luka Doncic and also be critical of him. It is something that is possible. It is something I actually encourage more people to do, because blind fandom gets you certain places. Luka's 6 of 20, 7 turnover performance is, besides the free throws, why the Dallas Mavericks lost this game. He is so busy waiting for Lou Dort to do something. He's looking around at all times. Is Lou Dort here? Can I draw a Lou Dort foul? That he's not playing basketball. He's so concerned with it. You see it on every time he gets past someone on a pick and roll. Instead of going downhill into, tall Abe Lincoln chest and scoring on Chet Holmgren at the rim and doing something with force and with strength, he wants to get the foul from Dort. I'm sorry, Dort's not going to foul out of the game. Dort has committed 21 fouls in 4 games. So that's like, he's 3 away from fouling out, and he's only done it once. And the bunnies that Luka's missing, he turns and he looks to the ref and he calls, and it's like, shut the fuck up and just score. Do something different. I mean, am I really off kilter here? Because 14 misses from this guy, some of which are like, I'm beyond like confused, because I understand his knee hurts, but he looked amazing tonight in terms of his movement. Didn't you think?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to look at the defensive end. Like,
Yes, that's what I mean.
if he's hurt, I don't know how he's staying in front of Jalen Williams as well as he did. I mean, we can highlight probably like 5 plays he played on defense where it was
He was so good.
yeah. And I mean, where's that, so if he's hurt, you'd think what's kind of funny is it would think if he's hurt, it would show up on the defensive end. Because
Right. Where he was getting attacked. And like, honestly, the one time he did it was when Chet Holmgren sank a 3 from the corner and he decided not to challenge it.
yeah, but by that point, the game was already
the Mavericks were down. Yeah.
Yeah, they had already lost control of the game. Yeah, he was what was he? Oh my gosh, I had it up just so I could be ready to make the point. He was 2 of 7 in the paint, 0 of 2 in the restricted area, 2 of 5 in the paint, non-restricted area.
Are we honestly scared of Chet Holmgren? Is that the problem?
That's part of it. He's pretty good rim defender, man. He's pretty
Luka
good.
Outweighs him by 50 pounds. Put him into the stanchion.
I know. But he does. Chet now has 8 blocks in the last 2 games.
That's been amazing.
He has 13 blocks in 4 games.
Yeah.
That's pretty. No, yeah, 13 blocks in 4 games. So he has been really good. But you're right. Luka has the size advantage. He needs to be able to figure that out. And I think the big thing with this series right now, and big thing with this game, is he had 7 turnovers. He had 10 assists to 7 turnovers.
And I mean, they were awful. They were
turnovers.
Awful variety. Live ball.
Yeah. But what's killing them right now is when it's killing Luka, it's what you're saying. He needs to be decisive in attacking the paint and the rim. And he needs to shoot the ball more, which is a really weird thing to say. Because he actually, he only took, I know it was a lower possession game, I think, and I'd have to double check. Low scoring game, 196. So there's not as many shots that are getting up as you would think. 88 shots for the Mavericks plus 23 free throws. So they got enough. Luka shot 20 times and he had 6 free throw attempts. That's low for him. And how many times of his 7 turnovers were him in the paint and it's like
doing something stupid?
Just shoot it. Shoot it. And he's looking around for corner shooters or outlets. And it's like, you're right there. Yes, Chet is a good defender and he's gonna alter some of those and he might miss some of them. But a missed shot is better than a turnover, by the way. It's unequivocally you might get an offensive rebound, something might happen, you might get a loose ball. A turnover's over. Your possession's done. So he needs to, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Chet's in his head. I don't know, like you said, Lou Dort's in his head. Because you're right, he'll have a runway and it's like, oh, he's got a path. And then he kind of slows up.
Lou Dort had 2 early fouls, and he spent the rest of the half chasing Lou Dort calls.
Yeah, and that's part of why he can be so good. And the good point guards that can use their body and kind of manipulate the space in the pick and roll, slow down and kind of ward off. I mean, like the Chris Paul move that he patented. Luka's been awesome at that. That's part of his game, and I get that. But it felt like it was so extreme because there were so many pick and roll opportunities where he was going into the paint. And he just kind of stopped. He stopped his momentum. And it was like, if you just go and take a floater, it's right there in rhythm. And he just kind of stopped and herky-jerkied and tried to get Dort to foul him over the top. And it just threw him off.
It's not going to happen. They're not calling that foul from behind. They took that out of the game. I don't understand why he's still searching for it. So
he didn't even take. I mean, how many threes? He only took. Oh, never mind. He took 9 threes. I was gonna say it didn't feel like he took a lot of threes, but he did.
2 of 9.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'm sorry. He is along with Kyrie, who we're gonna get to.
Kyrie was also bad.
Kyrie was weird, and weird became bad whenever Luka was also bad. But we're gonna get to Kyrie, and I'm just sort of at a loss. And you see him after the game, and he's got. This is me being a parent of a little boy, and Luka's a 25-year-old man. Okay, but candidly, he's closer to my son's age than he is mine. Is he? No, almost. We're right in the middle. Yeah. I can't do. But he's got that look on his face, like he knows. He knew this was on him, and at least I can take some solace in that. Okay. I can take some solace in the fact that Luka knows he has to be better.
Dude, how many games have the Maverick how many games have the Mavericks shot? They shot 41% in this game. So how many times have the Mavericks done that in the playoffs? I mean, they're starting to do that a lot more this playoffs.
Lot.
But how many times does that happen? And the main reasons are Luka and Kyrie. Because by the way, scan the box score. Most of the other role players hit their shots today.
Yeah, I'm glad. Like when those guys do their parts, Luka and Kyrie must do theirs as well. Like you can't
to lose a game on poor offense, and it wasn't because your role players were missing shots. That's a heartbreaker, and that's why. Like I know I'm not as mad about the game because I still think the Mavericks are going to be fine in this series, and I don't think anything the Thunder did in this game is making me worried for the team, like the broader picture. But individually, like just take this game on an island. Mavs fans have every right to be as pissed off as they want because losing playoff games suck. Doesn't matter the outcome. You can lose by 25. You can lose by 1. You could be the 1 seed versus the 8 seed. It doesn't matter. Like it sucks to lose a playoff game. But to lose a game where not only would you win, but you probably win by 15 to 20 points. If they just played average, your 2 stars, that's a gut punch. Like you got 5 made 3-pointers again from PJ Washington. Derrick Jones Jr., by the way, quietly scored 17 points.
Yeah, he was. This is his best game.
You got 17 points out of Jones. Tim Hardaway Jr., by the way, who I know had an awful, like pretty much game-ending turnover, but still hit 2 threes. You know, like the role players for the most part did enough. Like Daniel Gafford had 10 points. Like there was enough there.
I want to, and I think
the Stars blew this game. The Stars blew it.
I'm gonna get. We're gonna get to Kyrie in a second, but just like one last thing with Luka, like. Every time I do something like this, there's always people that either email me, tweet me, or something, where it's like, you don't deserve Luka Doncic. Shut the fuck up. That's my first thought. Look, he knows he has to be better. He is a brilliant basketball player, but he is letting the mental side of this affect him more than the physical side. Everyone sees it. He is mentally tougher than this. We have seen that too. Missing a free throw in a clutch situation to tie the game? Really?
Yeah.
Buddy,
that's tough.
Do better. That's what this comes back to. Do better. And you know what? They had a chance to take a 3-1 lead. Teams that take 3-1 leads win 95% of the time.
Series would have been over.
Series would have been over. The Mavericks had it, and they didn't take it. And let's get to the other reason why they didn't take it, even though we're nearly at the halfway point. I have really appreciated Kyrie Irving's game. Kyrie Irving in the first half had 7 assists, and I think he only had 5 points. He was orchestrating and passing. The offense got a little gross in the second quarter. And his feeds, back-to-back feeds to Gafford and to Washington for dunks were a huge part of the Mavericks sticking with this game. But buddy, pal, friend of the program. He's not a friend of the program. 11 shots. What are we doing? I don't understand.
Yeah, the 4 of 11, like the shooting percentage is pretty bad. But yeah, the 11 shot attempts is almost worse. Like, I don't understand how he was the 4th. He had the 4th most attempts on the team. Mm-hmm. Now, to be fair, he was passing very well.
He was passing well.
For the 9 assists, 1 turnover. But the first half, he was passing well, and he still, I don't remember how many points he had in the first half. I think he had
5. I think he had 5 in the first and 4 in the second. I mean, he had 9 points. Kyrie Irving had 9 points. I don't think he took a single 3 in transition, which has been one of his big weapons.
He did take one. Remember, Cason Wallace blocked it in the 4th quarter because Cason Wallace
was everywhere. He only took 2 threes. Yeah, he missed them both.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. He had 4 points and 7 assists in the first half. But 7 assists in the first half. So you look at the 4 points and you're like, okay, but 7 assists and a half is a lot for your secondary ball handler, which is what Kyrie is. The problem in the second half is he didn't score more, but he also only had 2 assists. So there was like
and that was only in the third quarter. He was nowhere in the fourth quarter.
The impact was gone because in the first half he wasn't shooting a lot, but his handprints were all over the game.
He was a big reason why they were ahead. Absolutely.
And the second half he was just like he was the Kyrie that we really hate to watch, where he's just standing in the corner, just kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna wait for the ball to come to me, and it's like, dude, like. The Mavericks should maybe run some more plays, but also he's the stature of a player where he does not need to wait for play. Like, you know what I mean? Like he just needs to get the ball and do something with it, So that was tough to watch.
Yeah.
I don't, and this is the thing. Actually, I take this back a little bit back because I said nothing in this game has really changed my tune of how I felt about the series overall. And I said in our prediction podcast, Mavericks in 6. I still stand by that. Maybe it's Mavericks in 7, but I still stand by the Mavericks winning the series. And the Thunder, the Thunder looked like a clown show for like 3/4 of this game. So it's not like they looked incredible or world, these world beaters either. So that's part of it. But also, the one thing though that does give me pause is so we're now 4 games into the series, and Kyrie Irving's had 2 stinkers. And when I mean stinkers, like legit, like 9 points tonight, 9 points in game 2, which they happened to win because I think that was the PJ game where he hit more, a bunch of threes again. And he had 11 assists though in that game, and he was passing well, and I thought he was defending well. He defended okay tonight, but still, he's at a 2 of 8 shooting game and a 4 of 11 shooting game. We said before the series started, like Kyrie's kryptonite is just is athletic length. Like when he has struggled in the playoffs, it's been against long athletic defenders. You look at his time in Brooklyn, he struggled in that Celtics series, his last playoff series, because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown just had him in hell. He struggled a little bit with the Cavaliers, not too much, but obviously he won the title. But after that Cavs run, he's had some up and down playoff appearances, and it's mostly been against guys that are long and can kind of stay with him and not fall for his craftiness with the live dribble, and guys that can kind of, they don't need to fall for it because they can maybe give him some space to let him dribble and still contest with their length. Like guys that don't have the length to contest him get in so much trouble because they have to get up closer to him. When you're up close on Kyrie with his dribble, with his live dribble, like you're just toast. So guys like Jalen Williams that are able to hang back a little bit and not have to guard him, be so airtight, and still be able to contest on his jumper, that's a problem. And so the Mavericks, like, they're going to have to figure something out because he was dynamite against the Clippers. They need him to have another explosive offensive game to win the series, I think. But it's going to be tough. His high point total is 22 in these 4 games. He had 30, 40, and 31 in the round 1 against the Clippers. Like, they're going to need a 31-point game or something like that from him if they want to win this series.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, guys, we're at about the halfway point in the show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. At some point during the game, we actually passed 3,000 subs. So I very much appreciate the loyal fans that we have garnered over the last several years. And, here at YouTube, we're growing our show, and you guys are a big part of that. For those of you who are watching the show live, please go ahead and consider liking the stream. Leave a comment after the show is over. If you're watching a little later, please leave comments. I love reading these things. I'm sorry I'm not able to respond to them as much as I would like. If you're listening on an audio stream, please consider leaving a review on whichever platform you're listening, and subscribe to the show as well. I'm going to insert some audio ads for those, so Josh and I can make a little daycare money. We'll be right back. All right. We got one tip. A tip and a loss. So, really appreciate that. Well says, I just rewatched every Thunder basket on 18 of the 35 when Luka was complaining to the refs and he had to scramble. Well, 52. I cannot actually verify this, but it's one of those stats that speaks to it's a confirmation bias thing for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with it and say, I agree. I mean, I want to talk about the Mavericks defense in a second, but I do want to make note of something tonight before we kind of circle on. This was a really amazing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander performance. He was 14 of 27 from the floor, 34 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He was everywhere.
You need to look at his shot chart. It's hilarious.
The mid-range, like he was just absolutely deadly efficient from like the Dirk area. And
0 of 2 in the restricted area, 4 of 10 paint outside the restricted area, 10 of 14 in the mid-range.
And quite candidly, guys, so like Luka in the post game said something about, I don't know, maybe we should send a double at him. That is not the answer.
No, you don't want to do that.
Like you're like sorry, Luka, you're wrong. The answer is you do what you do, and the offense needs to score some fucking points. And that is how you beat this game. Because I mean, he was great, but the Mavericks had like held everyone else down. And this is why I'm
38%. Like, how much better defense do you want to play?
No, right. It's every, the defense did their jobs. It's you had a chance to win and you didn't with the offense. Sorry. But the Shai was really great. I just, there's a lot of like random like SGA, like we talked about this last game, or I did, about the differences in kind of calls. Tonight was definitely not one of those games where I felt like Shai was getting Shy, however I'm supposed to pronounce it, he only shot 6 free throws. Just a really efficient game. A lot of Mavericks defended him really, really well, and he scored anyways. And it's really all you can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Thunder shot 14 of 24 from mid-range. Obviously, Shai had 10 of those 14 makes. Thunder shot 6 of 17 in the restricted area, 8 of 24 in the paint outside of it. Like, they made 4 corner threes, which is a backbreaker. Like I can't remember if they made more in game. I think they made more in game 1, but they gave up 14 corner 3 attempts, by the way, which is a lot. But some of that was by design, because a lot of them were like Josh Giddey, Lou Dort shots that they don't really care about. And those two guys both shot pretty horribly overall for the most of the game, even though they did score 17 points. But yeah, like I almost have nothing to say about the defense other than it's awesome. Like this defense is so impressive. And I know people are going to look at the 35 points that they gave up in the fourth quarter. I think I saw that the Thunder had 140 offensive rating in the fourth quarter. Obviously, that wasn't great, and there's probably some things that they can do to clean up, although Shai did make a step-back mid-range shot from like behind the backboard, which is like, okay, just that's going to happen. But also, it's really hard to play a perfect defensive game, which the Mavericks almost did. I mean, they really almost did. Fourth quarter aside, they were nails. Quarters 1 through 3. It's hard to keep up that level of defensive effort when you're missing so many shots. Like the Mavericks offense did not give them an opportunity to get control of this game. Like we said this, I think this happened in game 1, because we really felt like game 1 they were playing pretty good defense, and then like the dam sprung in the second half. That kind of happened again in the fourth quarter. Like, if you just continuously keep giving these teams live ball transition opportunities or live ball turnover opportunities, by the way, the Mavericks had 13 turnovers, the Thunder had 7. So both Mavericks losses in this series, they've lost the turnover battle. So I think that's not a coincidence, obviously. But if you even if you keep guarding the rim like maniacs and you do all these really great things, if your offense keeps missing shots and the other team gets a chance to grab the ball and go on the run without taking the ball out of the basket, if they're able to turn you over while the ball is still in play and not have to inbound it and have a transition opportunity, it's just tough. It's really tough to play defense sustained like that when your offense is just not helping you at all. Thunder had 14 fast break points, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when they only scored 100, 14 is a decent number. So that was, to me, the defensive story. I think the Mavericks played almost a perfect game on defense. It was just the offense just let them down so much that I don't know how much they could have asked them to do in the fourth quarter when they've already did as much as they could. I mean, they did enough to win the game quarters 1 through 3 defensively. Like the Mavericks just had to play better offense. Mavericks had 15 points in the third quarter. Like you can't have these catastrophic.
You can't have that, and
you can't have those quarters. That's what lost them the game.
This is one of those things. And granted, I think Jason Kidd's coached a heck of a series, but I call timeout, press the easy button, do something. And I don't really remember anything from that third quarter offensively where it was like, oh, okay, now they're doing the thing that will help them. I mean, it got off to a little bit of a bad start. Like Derek Jones, the Mavericks missed multiple open threes that quarter. They only shot 12 of 35, which is not bad, but the Thunder were worse. They were 7 of 27, I think, from three. So it's
Undershot like dog crap. Like,
and I mean, and if you back out PJ Washington's, so PJ Washington was 5 of 11. So the rest of the Mavericks were 7 of 24.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. And PJ was only 2
Yeah.
of 8 inside of 3-point on 2-pointers. So
PJ was weird. He got blocked
it was a weird
3
game.
times in a row at the rim.
But still 21 and 12. He had a block. His defense was great. He was so good.
No, it really, yeah. Well, he got cooked by Shai a lot in the fourth quarter.
But again, that kind of goes back to like, what do you expect? Like, how much is he gonna have left in the tank when you keep bricking all your shots on offense? Like, it's gonna happen. You're gonna, that happens.
Well, it's like we've got to figure out. Like Derek Lively needs to go to like shot therapy. He is 7 of 24 from the field this series, and he's got the next time he tries that under the rim flip nonsense, where it's like, are you just do you want Chet to block you? It has happened 4 times where he's like, oh, I'm going to go up and under and then get blocked at the rim. Like, stop it. What the hell happened in the Josh Green minutes? Because I'm looking at the Bucks score. He was a negative 14 in 13 minutes. What happened?
I don't know. I think he missed shots. I mean, he had that air ball corner 3, which was not great, which basically ignited a fast break.
I called that the roulette wheel Josh Green experience because he did like shooting it over the rim. That's tough.
The bench was okay. Well, not really. The bench wasn't great. Lively was good defensively. Again, 4 blocks, but he missed 4 shots. And if he's missing 4 out of 7 shots, that's not great. Tim was kind of weird. I mean, literally giveth and taketh in the fourth quarter where he made that 3-pointer that if he would have missed it, then the game would have been pretty much over right then because they were down 4 with, I think, like a minute left or something like that. And then the very next offensive possession, he does like this awful turnover, which just kind of goes to show like they need him to make shots. But then also, if you leave him in the game, he might make a play like that kills you. And then Exum played 5 minutes and I thought was okay.
He was good. He had 2 shots.
Yeah. And then he went away. I don't know if it's because he was a -6 and the coaching staff saw that. But again, that's individual box score plus minus.
Yeah.
The game is a weird, it's kind of a funky stat. So I don't know if they just got spooked by that. I don't know.
That's like a second viewing kind of thing.
Yeah, that would definitely be a second viewing kind of thing.
Add some Hardaway minutes too. I mean, basically bad bench minutes is the thing here. Bad bench minutes from everybody.
And the Thunder got good bench. Casey Wallace was good. Casey Williams was okay. No one else really scored. Actually, the Thunder only had 12 bench points.
That's what worries me. That's why it's like you go home, role players shoot better at home.
Yeah, if you want to be worried, like the Thunder played they really look like dog crap for like 3 quarters.
Yeah, and they won the game anyways. And that should put fear into everybody's heart. You are sitting here saying, I think the Mavericks have this. I think the Mavericks have this. Not necessarily this game, though you did say it repeatedly. You think it's the series. And I think they're too. I think they have something in them. I do. It's Shea is going to get his points. The Mavericks they're sort of gearing up to let him. They're okay. It's so confusing to me because Draymond Green said at halftime essentially that Shea needs to play more like Luka. Like that was what he didn't come out and say that. He's like he's got to be a lot more aggressive and essentially take all the shots, which is what he did. And then he scored. So it's. I just see some of these, the Mavericks, I hope they commit to their defensive game plan because if Shai's scoring 2-point shots and you have the ability to, get in the lane and mix up with different people, then eventually I think that runs him down. And I think the Mavericks can get away with this, but the Thunder shoot really well from distance.
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah. I don't know. I still feel okay about the series going forward, but again, it's all the question marks are on offense,
which is so dumb. I know there's less spacing. Everybody's talking to me about the spacing, but it's like if you have Kyrie and Luka, you cannot have an offense that is this blech. And it's been bad. So they played how many playoff games now? So they went 6, and this is 4. They played 10 playoff games, right? They've had 2 good offensive games. 2.
Yeah, I think so. And then, you're feeling Maxey being out. the 5-out spacing that can help juice the offense a little bit.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Not there.
No.
Like you look at these minutes, some of these minutes that Maxey could have been getting, it's just you think that maybe with Luka struggling, you go 5 out, but I don't, Maxey's not the difference in Luka shooting, like having a good, you know what I mean? Like it maybe helps you in the margins a little bit, which, hey, they lost by 4, so maybe that's enough. But Maxey again is a 30-plus-year-old role player. Like you gotta be able to figure it out without him. He cannot be the reason your 2 stars look so pedestrian. Because if then that's like a whole nother problem. Like that's like we gotta have some foundational talks here about what's going on. But, yeah, I don't know. I've never seen Luka play this many bad games in a row.
It
never happened. Literally never happened.
I'm sure I'm going to get my rant thrown back in my face, but it's like you get past Dort, go to the basket, just go, make them stop you.
I'm with you.
Or one of like SGA leads the league repeatedly in drives per game. He doesn't always shoot in those drives. You can dribble through. Steve Nash used to do it all the time. Confuse the shit out of me. I'm very frustrated by this loss. It is entirely on the Mavericks players themselves. They had a real opportunity and they just died. I mean, you have 13 blocks and 4 steals, 17 stock. The turnovers were low as a team. I mean, the Thunder only had 7 turnovers. They did a really good job controlling the ball. The Thunder were also better on the glass, which the Mavericks should be able to beat them on the glass, but
they can't. The Thunder can't have 12 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, Dort had 3 by himself. Jalen Williams, who is that's kind of his deal, is mixing it up in the key. I don't know. Once Chet puts on some muscle, they're going to be able to control the boards. But man, watching guys take rebounds away from Chet is always confusing. It's like, crap, they have an offensive board.
I'm glad you brought up Chet though, because if you look at the 2 games the Thunder have won and the 2 games they've lost, Chet is the barometer. Game 1, 19 points on 8 of 16 shooting. Game 2, loss, 11 points on 12 shots. Game 3, lost 13 points on 5 of 9. 0 of 2 from 3.
6 of 9. Oh, yeah. 6 of 9.
Tonight. Yeah, sorry. Game 3, he
yeah.
was 5 of 9. I'm saying they lost, and then they win 18 on 6 of 9. When he's scoring well, they seem to win. Because, again, we've talked about the Mavericks defense is most susceptible to that 5-out spacing. But if he's not scoring, then the Gafford and Lively can just treat him like he's another big, like a normal big. You know what I mean? So when he drifts, when the Thunder involve him more in actions, their offense looks a lot better. So the Mavericks are going to have to be ready for that a little bit because really I think they've kind of gotten off easy with the way the Thunder have been using Chet, because they've been kind of using Chet more like a traditional, they need to be spamming. I mean, not to do a Thunder podcast here, but I don't know why they're not spamming Chet pick and pops more with the way the Mavericks are guarding, because the Mavericks just don't like to contest the big unless they put PJ on the big, but then you let one of the Mavericks centers guard Josh Giddey for 12 minutes, and I have no idea why the Thunder keep rolling him out. If the Thunder play Chet and rest of the normal starters plus some type of threat besides Giddey, just get rid of those 12 minutes from Giddey, give him to Isaiah Joe and Wiggins and Wallace. And so that way, you can't do the put your big on a wing defense that the Mavericks like to do, so they can switch the pick and pop with Chet. That's how that would be trouble for the Mavericks. They'd have to figure that out, because they've been getting off easy because they've been letting Gafford and Lively hang out on Giddey or Dort and not worry about the shooting. If the Thunder play a little bit more shooting in their lineups with Chet pick and popping, that could be trouble for sure.
They just don't do it. They won't do it. They won't again tonight. So they're going to have Giddey again.
He's going to start again. They're gonna be down 8 in the first quarter again, and you're just gonna be like, what's going on?
Yeah. This one's gonna hurt.
I will say
you have a lot of faith in the Mavericks, and I
do, but I will say though, if seriously, if they send Giddey to the Phantom Zone and start Case and Wallace, the Thunder will win the next 2 games. I will but I don't think they're gonna do that. So I think the Mavericks still have a chance to control things.
Yeah. Well, it all comes down to whether Luka wants to play. I'm sorry. That's like
the
he's the
health
be all.
excuse is difficult when he played such a good defensive game. Like that's
Yeah, he was. I mean, it was awful. It's too much talk, not enough make shots. Like I remember when he used to make floaters, like 2 of 7 in the restricted area, and some of those there's just nobody around him.
yeah, he's got to score in the paint because he doesn't have a three. Like he's not making threes. Like I don't know when he's gonna make threes.
And he keeps taking them, and I'm like, I get that that's part of your game, but it's just like,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to keep hauling on it. It's I'm sure I will.
It's weird. We're kind of I feel like we're almost at a loss for words because how many times have we come on this podcast and we're like, the role players didn't make shots. Luka scored 40 points and the rest of the starters combined for 15. Like that's what it's been like for 4 seasons. And now we're 10 games deep and it's like Luka has played like what 8 or 7 bad offensive games out of 10 playoff games.
So many missed shots in this game between these two teams. My goodness.
I know.
The Mavericks actually had one more make. It's just the Thunder hit all their free throws.
Yep.
I mean, literally all their free throws. This is a funny comment. I still blame Jason Gallagher's collab with LeBron and Kirk's pod with Bond Temps. We're effing doomed.
No.
That's a good comment. Oh, man. All right. So I'm going to host the secondary. You know what? We got 2 more tips to my friend Henry left us $12 in tips. Shout out to Henry. I think he popped in here. He's a big Kyrie fan, but he popped in here probably after my Luka rant. And I think he's being a little sarcastic with me here, where he says this is 100% on Kyrie and missed free throws. Kyrie is a preacher and a civil rights activist now, complete hot dog water, and doesn't want to hoop anymore. Me and Kyrie are getting a divorce. Henry, I don't believe you, Henry. You can't quit love like that. Anyway, shout out Henry. We really appreciate your support. All right, guys, if you want to hang out, kind of get some things off your chest, I'll host a group therapy here for a little bit, and then we will get on with things, and we will be back on Wednesday night. Those of you who are listening on the audio stream, thanks so much for hanging out. Josh, do you have anything before we go?
No, enjoy the live show. I bet it'll be it won't be for the faint of heart. I'm sure some of the fans.
Well, I mean, most of the people that actually want to come talk to me up here don't really argue in so much as just have takes to get off. Like I occasionally wish someone would come up here and tell me why I'm wrong about something. Instead, that only happens over Twitter. So that's fun.
All right.
Oh, well,
you have a good show.
We'll be back. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Give me 30 seconds. You get to hear our awesome music one more time. Everybody listening on the audio stream, on your podcasts, look for this show to get posted on Tuesday afternoon. We'll be right back. Go Mavs. Oh, hello, guys. Welcome to Pod Maverick Presents Group Therapy. This is where we all drink hot dog water live and complain about how awful that loss was to the Oklahoma City Thunder, where the Mavericks fell 100-96. If you're listening on an audio stream and you haven't heard Josh and I's recap show, please go ahead and do so. I decided to yell about Luka for about 4 minutes straight. I'm sure that's going to get clipped by people who hate me. Really look forward to that. And then we talked about just the various ways in which the Mavericks lost this game. So if you're new to the show here, got some takes you want to get off, there's a link in the YouTube comments on it's a StreamYard link that you can click. You can join from your show, or I'm sorry, you can join from your phone, you can join from your computer, and we'll kind of get some of these feelings out of our system and try to clear it out before the Mavericks face the Thunder again in Oklahoma City on Wednesday for Game 5. All right, we got multiple people waiting already, and I'm just going to go in order because I recognize all the names. Brian's coming up first. What's going on, Brian?
Nothing much. Just I'm not nearly as upset. Probably because I watched this game with some friends, as I ordinarily would be after a performance like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this ain't gonna take too long. But I just want to preface it by saying this: Luka is still one of the best players we've ever seen.
Sure.
He's still one of the best playoff performers we've ever seen. Kyrie is still one of the best playoff performers we've ever seen, especially in the clutch. But those two guys let the entire team down. I feel like with Luka, like, look, man, the knee is clearly a bother, but that's affecting his jump shots. The knee didn't have anything to do with him touching the paint and forgetting how to play basketball as soon as he saw Chet. Like, he wouldn't even get to the point in the paint where he's fully engaged Chet yet.
Yep.
Like, where he's in the 6 to 3 feet range. He'd be like 10 feet, like 2 feet below the free throw line. Chet's not near him yet, and he's immediately looking for something else to do with the ball other than shoot. And he had like 3 turnovers in a row just off of plays like that.
Yep.
And that is kind of where the game was lost for him.
Can you believe we're sitting here saying Luka Doncic shoot the ball more? I mean, my single biggest beef with frenemy of the program, Matt Moore, is he's just tells me over and over that he thinks Luka's like Harden and wants to score. And I think there are times, but hasn't happened in this series. I mean, it's some of the just real difficult for me. I did you hear any of my screaming in the first show?
I got the latter part of it.
Okay, so basically what I think Luka is so dead set on trying to get Dort into foul trouble that he's not fucking playing basketball.
Sure, there's definitely some of that going on.
Because they're like he gets Dort on his back hip, and he thinks it's October, and he thinks he's going to get that call, and the NBA does not call that anymore. They do not call it. So he needs to keep going in the lane, go at Chet, and put his 190-pound ass into the stanchion.
Yeah, I was saying earlier in the game, Luka, dude, you're 250 pounds. Chet can't stay in front of you.
I'm 250 pounds. Let's be come on.
There's
no way.
I'm being generous with man. That dude is at last measure. They told us 6'7", 225. I never believed that. He's like 6'8", 255-ish. Maybe I don't believe 260, not just yet. But well, right now he might be, but when he was slimmer, no. But yeah, so we were between that with Luka just not wanting to go all the way to the rim and like test Chet really. Or so what they were doing earlier in the game, he and Kyrie both, they were engaging Chet and stringing it out for one more dribble to give whoever set the pick for them, the roller, time to get down close to the rim, and they were throwing that lob, and it was working for a bit.
It was working, yeah.
And then all of a sudden it wasn't. It's like, well, it's because there's no threat of you to actually score once you see him. If they just cut off the roller and they send help in early from the corner, if you can't get the ball out to the corner, and that's how Luka got a lot of those turnovers, he would get like to 8 feet. Chet would be like 3 feet from him. So he had space to shoot, but he's seeing them peeling from the corner early to help with the roller. He's like, oh, I've got a corner shoot over there. Brother, the rim is right there. Shoot the ball. So there's that. And then there's Kyrie doing a Bob Cousy impression for the entire game. And then, like, with 6 minutes left saying, oh, maybe I should score. And the shot that usually gets him going, that transition pull-up, he took it contested, and Casey Wallace managed to block it.
Great block.
He was just, that was an incredible play from Casey Wallace. But then Kyrie just decided after that, oh, I guess I just am not scoring tonight. And it was like, well, okay, so PJ carried us offensively in the first half again. And
but PJ gets like so this is a weird thing, and I maybe this is just me being an asshole, but I think PJ gets points on the board and he realizes how many points he has, and then his ass starts to tighten up where he's like, oh no, I might keep doing this. And then and then he slowly dies. Like his efficiency manages to get worse as the game goes along. I don't understand how that is.
Well, he hit 5 threes in the first half, and he hit none in the second half, and it's probably because he was expecting to get some help. He wasn't expecting to be the leading scorer.
That's true.
He wasn't expecting to be a leading scorer for the game. Derrick Jones Jr. wasn't expecting to be like the third leading scorer. They like that's not what they're supposed to be doing. We got 2 really good games from them. PJ faded down the stretch of this game, sure. But even in the second half, when he got the ball and Shea was on him, he was putting his ass into him and making him work as much as he could defensively.
They only went to the PJ post up like twice, and I don't understand that.
In a normal game, I would understand it. In this game, I don't understand it. The other thing I didn't understand was us finally getting the offensive XM game we've been looking for, and him only playing 5 minutes when Tim played 22 and Josh only playing 13 also confused me because I thought he was really good tonight too. This isn't even like a Tim thing really. It's just he wasn't all that impactful tonight. So I feel like 22 minutes was too high. Just for me personally. And again, that circle of 3 players, I mean, I guess in a game where we only lost by like 4 or 5 or whatever, it matters, but it doesn't really matter if our stars like are even regular bad. Like, and it sucks. I thought Kyrie was good for most of the game. Like, I thought that even if he wasn't getting field goal attempts up, he was playing within the flow of the offense and he was making good decisions. He was making correct decisions, justifiable decisions. And I was like, okay, we can live with this result as long as he knows what time it is in the second half. And he did not know what time it was in the second half. And that stretch at the end of the third and going into the beginning of the fourth, where Shea just walked down and scored like 7 out of 9 straight possessions.
Really, wow.
And we didn't have
a wow
anything.
Performance.
Yeah, and we didn't have any answers for that. That was the game.
Yeah. Well, man, thanks for kicking us off. You got anything else before we get out of Dodge?
No, man. Just look. You can be mad at the team all you want. Just remember who the players are that you're talking about when you get on Twitter and you want to tweet very mean things about Luka and Kyrie, because I definitely did so as well. Just remember who you're talking
really
about.
mean things. I said really mean things. I feel okay.
And that's
that.
fine. Just look, man. It's a 2-2 series. Now we've, potentially got 2 OKC games if this goes 7, but it's 2-2, and we still have a chance to close this out in 6 or 7. So I'm not too concerned. The defense was amazing, and it's going to continue to be so.
I hope so. All right, Brian, talk soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, we have got a lot of people in here, which is it's been a while since we've had this many people waiting to chat. So those of you who are waiting to chat, just give me a second. I'll try to get to everybody as fast as possible. I got some names I don't recognize, but I'm gonna keep going. All right, Zach, what do you got for us tonight, man?
Hey, Kirk. A little bummed, but I'm actually I understand your rage. Like, I think Zach of a couple years ago would have been rage the way you were. Just the way we lost. Like, I was thinking if we lose this game, it's going to be painful.
Sure.
When we were leading, I don't remember the last time I was that pissed at Luka. And I was mad after game 1 because I was trying to compare it to game 1. But game 1, there was actually reasonable, I think, injury excuse, even if he was embellishing. I almost blew a gasket when Chet made that 3. And I guess Luka got hurt.
He did. He got up and he did a little hand wave challenge.
That really upset me. Like that deeply, because I have friends who are Suns fans and some friends who are Thunder fans who give me all the shit about Luka, and even though I'm critical of Luka, I'm always having to defend him because you know how it is. People embellish, but that was that's what people. The stuff people embellish about that isn't actually real. When he wasn't actually I don't know if he was even that hurt. But what I was going to say is missing the 2 free throws is inexcusable. And all I want to say is I know it's 2-2. I'm not trying to be too doomer, and I won't be surprised if we win the series. But 4 games in, PJ has been amazing. We got productive games from Tim Hardaway. Even Exum showed up a little bit tonight. If for some reason we lose this series and Luka and Kyrie are all world, the next 2 to 3 games that we still lose. And the reason we lose is because either our role players go cold or OKC has insane shooting, like good shooting. Like, even if Luka and Kyrie turn on these next 2-3 games, we have nobody to blame.
Sure.
But then because like the role players with how well they played, it's not even like they did their jobs. This should be 3-1.
It should be.
It should be 3-1, especially with the extent to which PJ has performed. Like PJ, I hope this doesn't happen, but if for some reason PJ goes 2 for 11 the next game, each of the next 2 games, and we lose by a couple points and Luka and Kyrie are dropping 40 and 30, you know what? I'm not going to be any less upset with them because they waited 4 games into the series. And so, honestly, it's like a put up or shut up time. I know it's 2-2, and there's like actually no excuses at this point.
This
like,
is the second series in a row they've lost the opportunity in game 4 to take control.
I'm in group text people that are like, I'm concerned. Like, I think we might win. But like, Zach, what have the Thunder done in the past to like prove that they can perform, that they can close this out? I was like, well, nothing, but we are just finished game 10 of the playoffs with Luka, and it is the 9th consecutive game where I have been like, okay, Luka, it's time to turn it on. And he hasn't.
It's not just turning it on, though. It's an understanding of limitations. So it's like one of 2 things has to be true here. It's like he's either injured and he's not playing to his best, in which case he needs to change how he's performing, or he's not hurt, or he's capable to play through it, what I actually think from tonight. And tonight he was just bad. He was bad. And I wrote about it and I screamed about it. And there's really no other way around that other than to say you dumped all over yourself after a really good defensive performance. Like he played good defense. No, I'd be curious as to some of the Thunder fans hanging out in the chat as to if they thought he played pretty good defense in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, I agree with you. I said after game, so where I was mad at him, and like I said, I was really mad at him at game 1 when he played so horrendous. And my thinking was, okay, you are hurt, Luka. You just went through 3 games of the same injury the previous series, and you know your 3-pointer is shot. It's one thing if you are healthy and in a shooting slump and you just have to gut through it. But when you are physically hampered and you cannot get the lift on the shot, that's not, I just got to snap out of it. Like what we've seen happen with PJ. PJ kept shooting and now it's back. Luka, you can't get the lift. So stop fucking shooting it.
But it's not just that though, man. He was 2 of 7 in the restricted area. He's missing shots. He's missing shots within 10 feet.
That's because Dort is so under his skin. He's looking to get.
That's what I think. That's what I think.
Because I'm watching this like so clear. I'm like, Luka, just focus on putting the ball in the basket. He has an eye on Dort all the time, even when Dort has no impact on the play. Yep. Yeah, I think earlier, I think you said this that Luka is maybe more focused on picking up a foul. It's so evident, and he's obviously complains a lot, but it is like it has reached the point he complains, but it is involuntary. Like immediately, it is foul or review or everything, and I get it. But I would like, as like the guy who should be the leader of the team. My last point is like the Mavs won the title when I was 14 years old, and since then it's just been year after year of me seeing title teams come up, and eventually what happens, you realize just like the teams that are built for it, and they don't let opportunities slip away. They get luck, but their star player especially like gets the job done. And look, I'm fine when Luka's complaining when he's dropping a 30-point triple-double and we're winning. But if you're complaining and you're falling down, embellishing an injury, and then you're giving Chet a wide-open 3-point shot, I'm going to be pissed. And then after all of that, you're gifted with the opportunity. You get a marginal foul call, and all you have to do is make 2 free throws where you don't jump on your free throws, and then that happens. It's why I was just like, we don't deserve to win the game. In SGA, I was like, this is what it used to feel like watching Luka in the playoffs, that the confidence Thunder fans must have right now when SGA has the ball in his hands. That shot, when he hit it over the backboard, fading out of bounds, I was just in awe. So I guess my own question for you is, how do you think the rest of this series shakes out? How much of this is, just overreaction? Like, what do you actually think is going to happen the rest of this series?
I don't know. This is very much put up or shut up time for Luka.
I mean, aren't we already past that? Like, I would have
No.
thought put up or shut up was like
No,
today.
because it's 2-2 and they go back into, you get multiple chances in the NBA. You get multiple chances. And he has to be better, and I expect that he likely will be better. Or at least more aggressive. Yeah.
Why? Like, why do you expect? Maybe that's where I'm. Why do you expect that? I don't expect that anymore.
I mean, he sees tape, and if he's moving like he's moving tonight, there's going to be things where he can see it, and he'll just go attack more. I do believe that. There are elements of the game plan here, so that's where I'm settling, and I think he'll have the opportunity. He'll take some more shots. I cannot believe that we spent a significant portion, Josh and I did in our previous show, talking about how we wish Luka would have taken more shots. That's not been the case some series, in some games. But he needs to, if he's going to get where he was getting tonight, he needs to take more attempts. He just does, and stop passing out too much.
And it is, in my opinion, it is more Luka. Yes, Kai needs to be better. At the very least, Kyrie. He's making very impactful non-scoring plays early in the game.
He was in the first half. In the fourth quarter, he was invisible.
Agreed. But whereas Luka, I feel like barely did anything offensively the whole game. And I would like to just see a little bit more aggression from Kyrie sooner. And I was really happy with the Exum minutes initially. But Thunder shot 25% from three.
Yep.
And they beat us. And they are the number 2 percentage shooting team in the league from three. So thanks for giving the space.
Of course,
to
man.
Needed
right.
this. Appreciate it.
Talk soon. All right.
Peace.
All right, coming up next, we got my guy Simon. It's late on that East Coast, so we're gonna let him go. We're gonna let him come up so he can go to sleep. Hey, man.
Can you hear me, Kirk?
I can. What do you got for us?
Okay.
We got a lot. We got a lot of people in there.
I know.
That.
Yeah. So first of all, you astutely pointed out that I was getting on the elevator on the last show, and it's kind of in that dead zone where the Wi-Fi kind of cuts out before you get onto the cellular network. So that's kind of when I cut out. I did not go to Dan's Cafe. But next time I go to DC, I'll make a pit stop for you, and I'll put one back for you. Anyway, let's talk about tonight. So I want to I guess we'll start with the smaller points, then we'll hit on the bigger points. I think for the Mavericks defensively, I think they're playing very connected on defense right now, in my opinion, right? And the SGA game, I mean, what can you do, right? But I think part of that was, the Mavericks were so committed to walling off the paint, which they did. They were committed to making sure that the other, running the other Thunder role players off the 3-point line and sort of conceding the 3-pointers to Gideon, Dort, and their weaker shooters, and they executed that pretty well. So really the only thing OKC had for them going offensively was Shea's mid-range game. And, he made him pay. I mean, because he's a great player and he doesn't bullshit. When he has a clearing, he just goes there and just goes right up and shoots it. And he's perfected his mechanics to the point where that's a consistent shot for him. When he has a drive to the basket, he goes all the way. When he has an 8-footer, he just, he's got a high release point. He fades back a little bit. Obviously he's quick and he's shifty, and so he can create the separation consistently. And when he's making it, he's tough to deal with. So you just got to give him credit. And I don't think there was anything schematically that the Mavericks did wrong defensively. I thought they actually played a great defensive game.
Their game plan was there. They had it. The Thunder shot 38% from the floor.
Right. So there's that. And I see a lot of comments, just scrolling Twitter and whatnot, and hearing some of the, the guys that came on previously even. But, I see a lot of what the trend on Twitter was Kyrie and Luka. I don't think Kyrie played a horrible game tonight.
No. It's the two of them together scoring like 12 points sucks. Like I was much less frustrated with Kyrie.
Kyrie played a pretty damn good floor game. I mean, in the fourth quarter, he had two like mid-range shots that he usually makes that sort of rimmed out. And I mean, it's a make or miss league as they like to say. But Kyrie always he's pretty stoic. He keeps the ball, he keeps the ball moving when he gets it. He comes off the screen, he attacks, he looks for the dish off. I think he had 9 assists and 1 turnover. So overall, I mean, and overall, A, he's not the problem. B, he's the second best player on the team. He's not the soon to be, 5-time first team all NBA. Now to get to Luka, but before I get to Luka, you and Josh, you guys talk a lot about Jason Kidd, and for the most part, I agree with you guys. But I think one area where Kidd has to be given credit is the fact, I don't know if he's like the Kyrie whisperer, but basically since Kyrie's been in Dallas for a year and a half, now, there hasn't been any bullshit.
No, he's been anything I could. He's been everything I could have wanted and more as a player. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I don't know how much credit you want to give Jason Kidd for that.
A lot. I mean, if Kidd deserves a lot of credit for the environment. He's happy with the environment.
And I know that there was the whole thing. Kyrie grew up in New Jersey. Jason Kidd was the Nets point guard back.
I think the challenge to the environment has to come from, it's like, if Luka's content enough without being challenged more regularly, and maybe Kyrie to an extent too, I think that can be the flip side of being very close professionally. Because I mean, again, these guys are not superior; they're equals, and Kidd just happens to coach the team. So I think he's done well.
And you kind of led into the point that I was making where, and the Mavericks were in a kind of a very unique situation with Luka these past 6 years or however long they've had him, where, there was sort of moribund when they drafted him, and then he comes in and immediately lights the league on fire. But I think a byproduct of that is, and I don't know if this is necessarily Kidd's fault because, he wasn't there for the first 3 years. But, Luka has not kicked his bad habits, and B, if anything, that they've gotten worse and they compound when he doesn't play well.
Yeah.
Like the whining to the officials is one thing. Like it bothers me a little bit, but it bothers me a lot more when he does it while the play is still going on.
Yep. Live ball stuff for sure.
Live ball stuff where he turns it over, or he thinks he gets hit on the arm, and a lot of times he doesn't. He just gets stripped, and then he looks to the official, and then boom, the Thunder are going the other way. Now, I mean, I've been talking about it all year. I think I came on like after the first 7 games or 8 games or something like that. It's like he just doesn't attack the rim anymore. I mean, the first 2 Clippers series, he got to the rim at will all the time in the paint, 3-foot shots and ones. I mean, you brought up the stat that he was 2 of 7 in the restricted area, but how many of those were actual? I mean, most of them were 3 to 5 foot floaters. They weren't real lay. I don't know if he actually shot a layup in this game. So the one area where I'd kind of push back on you and Josh is not that he needs to shoot more. It's that it's his shot distribution. The 3-pointers that he's taking. I mean, 9 3-pointers is not an excessive number. That's probably about what he's averaged on the season, but it's the 3-pointers that he's taking where Dort is right up under him and he has no separation. Because usually, like I've said, he gets separation on his 3-pointer because the opponent fears the drive, and that's how he there was one play in the fourth quarter, and this was a good play from him where I think it was the last field goal he had, but he had the ball in the backcourt and he actually drove the ball with purpose and then stepped back to the mid-range, and he had space and he knocked it down. That's what he's not doing enough. And at this point, I don't know how much of that really I can ascribe to injury. I mean, he seems to be moving fine, but his decision making at this point is just awful. I mean, there was one in the third quarter where he got caught up in the air and threw it to nobody, threw it out of bounds. I mean, it's perplexing to watch, and the frustrating part is that in the previous times that the Mavericks had made the playoffs, especially the first 2 times when they played the Clippers, they needed Luka to play at 1.25x for them to even be competitive. And for the most part, he did that. At this point, everybody else on the team, in my opinion, is doing what you would want them to do. PJ Washington is making threes. Derek Jones, I think, went 5 for whatever tonight. I mean, he shot over 50%. I mean, you'd wish Lively would finish more of the bunnies, and that's another conversation.
God.
And you and Josh do a great show. I mean, you do. And I listen to you guys now. I usually don't listen until the next day because I don't want anything that you guys say to like inform what what I'm going to say. I just want to.
I agree with that. I appreciate. I would totally. Yeah, I totally understand that.
And have my own takes, but it's like Luka doesn't even need to play over his head. He just needs to play like Luka Doncic. That's it. That he just needs to come. He just needs to statistically be in the 30 to 35, shoot around 50%, make 4 of 10 threes or 3 of 8 or whatever, and play an efficient game, make good decisions. When he gets trapped at half court, move the ball. And I mean, like, if he does that, why can't this team, like, oh God, I don't really want to get ahead of myself.
I get you, man.
This team, like, they can win there's no
I agree.
There's no 2017 Warriors in this playoff field. So that's what makes it frustrating, because it seems to me that they have the pieces, especially defensively, to where if he just plays to his regular level, not above his regular level, but just to his regular level in the style that he plays. I mean, because like sometimes you're gonna miss shots. I mean, there were a few games I can remember. I think one in particular was the Boston game at home. He shot it poorly, but like that, and I remember that game, and I'm thinking like, well, he played pretty well. He took good shots. He was aggressive. He just didn't make shots. And if that happens, then okay, you can live. I mean, that's just the nature of basketball. But I mean, just to watch, 10 games of this in a row now. I mean, he's
been really like 8 of the 10, but I know what you mean.
He's had really one Luka game, which was Game 5 versus the Clippers. And what I was trying to say before I got cut off on the last show is like, I keep watching these games and I keep waiting for, that Luka Doncic game. And it just like, but unfortunately, like the longer this goes on, the more you figure that it's just not going to happen. Like this is the player that he is for these playoffs. And until he either A, gets healthy, or B, like does some self-reflection and makes adjustments to the way he plays. I mean, this is just going to be it. And he might have a game where like, game 2 where he comes out and makes 4 threes in the first quarter and kind of goes from there. But I mean, in order for him to do that, he's got to present more of. I'm not the only person to say this. He has to present more of a threat to drive all the way into the paint, and then build off of that, because once he does that, the 3-pointers are going to be better looks for him.
Sure.
So,
Simon, thanks for hanging out late with us.
Really all I got, but thanks for having me on again.
All right.
Always pleasure.
Talk soon. All right, Henry, sorry to make you wait. What's going on? Henry,
here we go. Here we go. Here. All right. I don't really have too much. Sorry about that. It was on my end. I really don't have too much, man. I'm sorry about that. I will be silent on Kyrie moving forward. I don't know what the fuck that was, my guy. That was quite disgusting. He tried to turn it on in half. He couldn't do it because he was cold all game, and I mean, it was gross. I really don't know what to say. And again, and normally, me, me and you we were chief and CEO of fire the kid, get him the hell out of town. But I can't even put this one on kid, man. Kyrie just doesn't look involved. He doesn't.
Did you see the stat that in the final 7 minutes of regulation, Kyrie and Luka combined for 1 point, and it was that Luka free throw?
That's disgusting.
I mean, like, how do you not? There's got to be an easy button play for one of these two that they go to at a key moment, and they just don't use them that way. And I don't understand it. Like, I didn't necessarily think the Maverick offense was that. Like the process was a little bit frustrating, but it is a little too deferential with certain guys getting looks. But it's just at a certain point, and Kyrie even has mentioned this, where he's like, "Yeah, one of the coaches will say to me, I waited too long to go."
And he waited even longer this game.
I don't understand that.
I think the only consistent one that I saw was Luka. He would come across, and then Luka would post up, and then Kyrie would be like a pass away. I think that was the only thing they consistently ran to like give him a good shot without him having to bulldoze through Lou Dortz. So I think they should do that repeatedly. But also, if Jeremy's still in the chat, Jeremy, make sure you donate to support Mavericks podcasters and streamers, man. Come on, man, donate, my guy. Donate with your money, man. Tell me what I need to do with my money, and I'll do it again. So, Jeremy, if you're up here, donate again and come up here in the chat. Otherwise, shut the hell up. All right, I'm out.
Be good, man. Talk soon. All right. Coming up next is Sam. Sam, welcome to the show. Oh, no. Sorry. Tamin, welcome to the show. I clicked the wrong name. My bad, man. How are you?
Hi. How are you? Kirk.
Welcome back to the show. How are you tonight?
Oh, you remember me. Good.
I do.
Yeah, good. Actually, it's not tonight. It's
early morning.
8:51 a.m.
What a rough start to your day. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I had to wake up 4 a.m. just to watch the game. So I think you and some people being a little harsh on Luka. I know I don't want to be a Luka fan right now, but I said to a friend earlier today that Luka does not deserve this team. He is so bad in these playoffs. But yeah, I really think that. But the thing is, Luka heading into the playoffs and the last stretch of the regular season, he was tired. I think he is second in the minutes per game in the regular season, and it's a really heavy minutes. You can say that, but and do you remember the stretch where where Kyrie and Dante Exum went out? He was playing like 45 minutes a game.
Yep.
So he was even bad before the knee injury.
I like it. I don't know if I fully agree, but I do agree that he was tired by the end of the season. That's why getting out of the play-in was so important, because the Mavericks were pretty ground down. He wasn't necessarily injured as much as he was just tired, and you could certainly see that.
Yes.
And then when you're tired, you make mistakes.
Even you can see it by the drives number and the at-rim field goal attempts. I think the attempt is now half on what it was of the regular season at-rim attempts. So, and this is a reason why he's checking three, and this is a reason why he is so bad and frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm not mad if a player taking 22 shots and maybe making 4. So you're just not making them. But Kyrie only took 11 shots, and I think this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
I'm okay if you take 25 shots and make 4, but this is unacceptable if you take 11. And the thing about this Mavericks team, they don't have a lot of sources of offense. Their offense only comes from Kyrie and Luka. So if you are a little too passive, I think this hurts the team more than you think.
Absolutely. No, I mean, PJ can do things from time to time, but I think he works best being set up by Luka and Kyrie.
Yes. I don't think PJ taking 19 and posting up Shy a lot is a good formula to win. But I think the Mavs are in a good position, but I'm afraid that they got the Thunder that now got the momentum of the series.
Yeah,
so
it's best of 3 now with 2 games in Oklahoma City. So this is tough.
Yeah, I think they can win. The Mavericks can win in 6. So
I appreciate that level of faith.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for hanging out. Have a better day.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up next is Sam. Sam, welcome to the show. Sorry about that last time. I am bad at clicking buttons, apparently.
Oh, it's all good. Sam, Tam, it's all the same. We all got different names, so it's all good.
This is a throwback, Sam. You've not been in here in a while. How you doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can. You sound good.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's been a minute. I've been just watching from the sidelines, but I enjoy what you and Josh do, so I'm always watching. I'll be quick again, but do you realize in the Luka era, when they've had a chance to go up 3-1, they've lost every game, and it's been by horrible circumstances.
Yes.
The Clippers in 2021, they got blown out. Jazz in 2022, they obviously had like the missed free throws, and then Rudy Gobert hitting the shot. And then this year had a chance to go up, and they were down 31, almost won it. And now this one where they had control literally the whole game, and then they just blew it. So it's kind of one of those things where I look at it like, I don't know. Again, I'm not going to blame Jason Kidd, because I don't think it's a Jason Kidd thing, but I don't know if it's something where they don't understand like the moment, because if you look at it, you go up 3-1, it's over, in my opinion. I think they're done.
Yeah.
And if you win game 5, I think Minnesota and Denver is going to go at least 6 or 7. There's a chance to get a week off right there. And Luka can get rest. Kyrie can get rest. You can just, recover and regroup and get ready for the Western Conference Finals. And you just let an awesome situation just slip away. Now you're having to put in more effort just to try to not go down 3-2 and having to, maybe fight for a game 6 or a game 7.
Yeah.
So, again, Luka, for all the Luka stands out there, listen, I love the guy, but you got to be a realist.
I don't think anybody's really happy with Luka. I look, there's like even the people that in the chat are being kind of sassy right now, and you can see it online. Like, I don't think anybody's happy with him.
Yeah, he has to be better, and I'll give him this. When he said he has to be better, he usually comes out the next game and performs better.
I agree.
I mean, the game 4 against the Clippers, he needed to help Kyrie, and then game 5 he balled out. Game 1, he was bad against the Thunder. Game 2, he came and balled out. So I think, now that's the key word, think at this point. I think he will come out and play better. Now, will it be better enough for them to win? I don't know at this point, because I think they blew their chance to really take control of the series.
I mean, this is a team that has the mental fortitude to go into a very hostile Oklahoma City environment and perform. That part I'm at least very interested in. This is a team of dogs. And just like the Thunder are I think a lot of their guys are mentally tough enough. I mean, the Dallas crowd sucked ass tonight. Like, that's one of the worst playoff crowds I've seen them have in a long time. But the game was so like bleh, there wasn't it was an odd one. But I'm looking forward to seeing if these Mavericks can respond. I mean, I'm going to be thinking about this game a long time if they lose the series.
Yeah, and even with the crowd part, I think what it was because I think I had the same feeling just watching it at my brother-in-law's house. It was just kind of the feeling like, man, we should be up by like 15 or 20, and we're only up by 8. We're only up by 7. We're only up by 6. And every time you thought they might pull away, the Thunder would cut it to 5. They would cut it to 4. Then it'll be 7 again. You're like, okay, we're going to start pulling away. And it just never happened. Like, even the fourth, when they were up by 4, you get a layup, you get an alley-oop from Derrick Jones, you're up by 8. You're like, okay, we settled it. We're good. We're going to just hold them off. We're not playing great. We're still going to win. It just never happened until finally when Chet hit that 3, you said, okay, it's done.
Yep.
Like, you didn't even think, like, even when they cut it to 1, you're like, okay, Luka, they cut it to 2, and then
Luka, yeah. I still thought Shai would have hit the final shot if Luka had tied it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're going to lose a game winner anyway, so you just never feel like they're going to come back. So it is what it is. It's best of 3. Like, am I concerned? I don't want to say no, because I think out of these 4 games, besides game 1, we've been the better team. It's just,
I mean, they're much better in terms of. I think the Thunder have more kind of top to bottom talent, but the way the Mavericks have played connected defense and look dominating for stretches, I think the Mavericks have played better. So that their 2-2 is stupid.
Yeah, it's Shai doing Shai things. Because I mean, to be honest, besides he's really doing what he's done in the regular season. I mean, for the most,
he's great.
He's fine. It's if Luka's just he averaged 30, 34 in the regular season. If he's average, we win the game. Like, that's the crazy part. If he's just average, we win the game. And that's with Kyrie not even shooting the ball. If he's average, the Mavericks win the game. That's it.
Yeah.
So Again, Kyrie, he's still getting his bail too. You got to shoot the ball, man. Come on, dog. Just shoot the ball, bro. Like
That
listen,
Case and Wallace block fucked with him. I really
it
believe that.
did, and again, hey, you're gonna have bad games. It does happen, but like Kyrie, like this, not making shots in the first half, stuff got to stop, man. Like at least I'm not saying go 10 for 10 like Aaron Gordon did the other day, but like, bro, like 10 points, give me double figures in this first half, at least something, anything. Like, but that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, it's 2 out of 3. You win game 5, do what you did against the Clippers, win game 5, come home, finish it off in 6, and we'll all be happy and forget this game ever happened. So that's all I got.
Thanks for hanging out, Sam. Talk later. All right, news. Welcome to the show. Tell me what you're thinking.
Yo, how you doing?
I am shockingly awake for 1 a.m. I think I'm just still pissed off.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, brother. I live in Indiana, but
The East Coast state that doesn't make sense to me, where the sun doesn't go down until 10 p.m. in the summer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I turned a Mavericks fan. I was actually done watching the NBA till Luka came in, so I've been a Mavs fan since then. But about this game, man, I heard everybody saying, Kyrie could have shot more, Luka could have been average, because all those things are true. But I still feel like this game was lost at the free throw line, and the refereeing was ridiculous. The second quarter, there's like 7 minutes left, and they were in the bonus with 7 minutes in the second quarter. And that's what when we made it out of that, I was like, okay, at least we made it out of that, because I was worried then. I was like, okay, if we're in the bonus 7 minutes, they're going to go up, but we still squeezed out of there with the lead. Like I said, we still had control of the whole game, but the free throws, shooting under 50% is really what lost it. And say Luka under average, Kyrie not shooting, we still should have won that game if, as a team, we shot 57%. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's 2 free throws. Like it's 1 free throw in certain circumstances. It depends on how you really want to look at this. Like I was losing my mind.
And same with Kyrie. I mean, Kyrie's 90% free throw all season, and I feel even the Clippers series, he was missing free throws. Just like it's like it used to be automatic. Now I'm like with Luka, it's never automatic with Luka, but with Kyrie, I was always like, okay, nothing to worry about. But he's even been missing free throws lately. And like you said, I don't know if it's the rhythm, like what kind of game he's playing inside of the game. You know what I mean? Like you said. Yeah. The coach told me it's too late, or like, are you playing? Is the game so boring? Are you you know what I mean? Are you so bored with this game that you're playing another game inside the game?
Right.
I don't know, but I still think that they can still beat it. But like the homie said before this, it would have bought them a lot of time, and it just would have been better instead of going through this next 2 games and traveling back and forth and all that.
Yeah, I really, and I like very selfishly wanted them to win in 5 games because I have something I have to do on Saturday, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do this show on Saturday, which kills me because I work my life around this show, and it's just a tough one. But I don't really have too much of a problem with the refs, and insofar as I mentioned earlier, Dort has 21 fouls through 4 games. Through 4 games, he only has 26 or 24. He has 24 available, so he's 3 short of fouling out total. The refs aren't going to foul him out. The refs don't want to foul him out. So Luka needs to play through that and understand it and work around it. The refs didn't want to foul Kyrie out when Kyrie had 5 fouls. It's not something these guys want to do. And so I need Luka to just play through it and score more and stop worrying so much about it.
And like I know somebody else called earlier about taking defense for Luka, because like I said, if you're a Luka fan, you get all the same. Everybody's here and saying the same things to you. And my defense with Luka is because I feel like it's not just Luka. There's a lot of, before the game started, there was a 1 point. It was a 1 point spread on the game, right? We were, like I said, we were blasting them, and even when we were up 14, it felt like from the missed free throws, we should have been up 22. You know what I mean? But it just felt like there's times in the game where they're not calling fouls after foul after. I'm watching the game on TV when Derek Lively goes, I heard the slap on my TV.
That was funny.
And the refs
then Kyrie got free throws in the next one, and Kyrie missed one of the 2. And so it's like
exactly.
It was rough. The free throws are the literal reason why the Mavericks lost. The way Luka and Kyrie played end up being kind of the more tangible, frustrating reason as to why they lost over. Not tangible. The more just sort of if you're discussing basketball high level when you want your stars to perform.
Right. No, I agree with that. I do agree with that 100%. Like you said, the main one is that One last thing before I let you go, man. With the Kyrie not shooting the ball, if everybody like he's getting doubled probably 90% of the game every time. There was sorry, excuse my language. What's so curious to me is that even though he's not scoring, OKC is still on him like he's going to score. That's what's puzzling me. So I wonder if he's waiting for them just to break down, because that's why I feel like this game, where if we'd have won this game, they'd have broke down and they would have changed everything that they were doing, and we would have been ready for a Kyrie again, because they're worried about Kyrie going off, and he's only scoring 6 points a game or something like that, and it's just the way that it's wild, man. I don't know. Also, the pick and roll, we stopped going to that. I feel like Derek Lively and Gaffer were dominating down low, and we just stopped going to that.
Well, the Thunder adjusted to a certain extent. I also think Luka pulled back on his attacks because he was seeking out the Dort contact. And so
Right.
there's a couple of, but there's a lot of reasons why the offense went to hell. And hopefully they look at the film and figure out some ways to get easier baskets, because they only scored, I think, like 37 points in the second half. That's not good enough.
Right.
So
You're right, man. Well, I thank you, man, for letting me get on the show, man. I watch it all the time. It's my first time being on the mic, though.
of course, hope you come back. Thanks for joining us.
Definitely, thank you.
All right. Last but not least, we got Rain calling in from the other hemisphere. How you doing today, Rain?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Not as bad as the other bloke who had to wake up at 4 a.m. for this shithole, but
Woo! That's right.
it's a whole day to have to deal with this bullshit.
Right.
It's hard to have any new thoughts or ideas after everyone else has gone on, but this, as mad as I am, this feels more like a game that the Mavs lost rather than OKC won. Between all the free throws and all, just the utter bullshit from everybody. Like, I just want to have my little rant about this. Normally, I'm okay with Luka doing this, where he will dribble past, he'll blow by, and then he'll pause for a second, a dribble or two to let the defender catch up, get on his hip so he could draw the foul. But the number of times that he did this today and then threw a pass that led to a turnover, or what would you call it out and say what it is, flopped and didn't get the call.
Mhm.
It's absolutely infuriating. And I'll give him the pass on the 3-point shooting. I understand he takes them to try and keep the defense honest, but he could half them, and besides this game, he's been shooting pretty efficiently from inside the arc.
Luka? Not in the
he hasn't
Thunder
been
series.
They're not super inefficient.
I mean, he was 2 of 7 in the restricted area tonight.
Tonight it was terrible, but maybe this is.
He's had better games. He's had game 5 against the Clip. I know what shots you're thinking about. He killed Russell Westbrook on a lot of like 15-foot kind of like kind of Dirk Nowitzki type shots. He's had better games. He's still been pretty dreadful overall.
Okay. Maybe I'm just remembering it wrong then.
No, because some of the shots look good, and when they look good, they look great. They feel great.
And they do feel great. And it's and then what was it? A third quarter? They were in the bonus fairly early on in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. There was a quarter where they were in the bonus pretty early, and they didn't take advantage of that. And that's something I've noticed this team never does. They get in the bonus, and they just decide that this is the time for them to shoot shots from outside. Like, why are we not driving to the back? Why are we not spamming, even if they're not shooting it well? Why are we not spamming pick and rolls just to get someone inside the paint so we can get those free throws going? Not that it probably would have mattered in this game if they only shot 50% of them, but overall for the series, pray PJ can keep playing at the level he's playing. Hope Kyrie and Luka can improve and play more up to their standards. Like, Kyrie was getting foul. He had 5 fouls in the first half, basically. So I can understand he doesn't want to be too aggressive. He's thus makes him more of a liability on defense. But this is a series they can clearly win. like you've said before, if OKC decides to take Giddey out of the rotation and swap him with like a Case and Wallace with better defense and apparently much better shooting, I would probably be a lot more afraid of the games coming ahead. But I don't think I'm from this game going into any game fearing that they don't have a chance to win. I'm just, are they going to drop the ball? And in this game,
Yes.
they dropped the fucking ball.
I think that's true. Very much so. I'm dreadful that we're just going to be thinking about this game all summer.
That's all I've got. Thanks, Kirk.
Thanks
Thanks
man.
for doing
Talk
this.
soon. All right, everybody. Hope you feel better. Maybe you might feel worse. You never really know with one of these things. Thank you guys so much for hanging out in the chat for this long. Josh and I very much appreciate it. You guys know the drill. If you want to leave a comment on the video, I'd appreciate it. If you want to come subscribe to the show, we'd appreciate it. We'll be back on Wednesday night. Wednesday night is game 5. It should be an 8:30 start time, if I remember correctly, but I'll go check that out right now before we leave. What does ESPN tell me here? Wednesday night at 8:30 on TNT, following Indiana at New York. And then that will mean that game 6 is on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. We'll talk a little more during the week about what's going to happen on Saturday. I got to figure some stuff out. Josh and I do too. He and I both have something planned. It's very frustrating. Okay, guys, be good. Everybody have a pretty good week, and we will talk to you on Wednesday. Go Mavs.